Bob Brilon joins me now, President and CFO of Vapen MJ. Bob, welcome.
Thank you.
Bob, I'm happy to talk to you and a little bit surprised to hear that you actually make money in the cannabis space. So let's start with an overview of Vapen's business, and then we'll dive in more into the details of how your financials are turning out.
Sure. Vapen is a vertically integrated company so far in Arizona. So by that I mean cultivation, extraction, and dispensary. That's one license. And we also, through the dispensary, sell wholesale. The dispensary's name is Herbal Wellness Center, but through wholesale we sell under the Vapen brand. And so Vapen is sold to the Curaleafs, the Harvests, and 65 other dispensaries there in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. So what is your product mix like in terms of processed goods versus premium dried flower?
Sure. In the dispensary itself, we have about 50% of our revenues come from the dried flower. And then the rest is Vapen extracts, which is shatters and waxes. Also the cartridges, which the distillate cartridges for Vapen. And then we also have kitchen Vapen, which is everywhere from your cookies, your candies, and candy bars.
Okay, so most recently you reported revenues totaling 1.2 million, and how are your margins? How is your EBITDA shaping up?
Sure. I think you might be looking at that was probably net income, and our 6-month revenues were 13.2. We had EBITDA of about $4 million on that 13.2.
Oh, okay.
And then the net income after tax was about what you were saying, I think 1.2.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Great. Then, so the vaping crisis hasn't affected you. Have any of your products caused any health issues with any of your customers?
None that we're aware of.
And vapes are a small part of your business, I understand.
Well, and obviously the vaping crisis, a lot of that is nicotine based. Mm-hmm. You know, they're saying the big clouds are the issue, and we have nothing to do with nicotine. The other thing they were pointing out is that the vitamin E acetate was causing a problem. Those are people that actually do distillate, but they cut it and put the vitamin E acetate in it. We have nothing to do with that either. So ours is straight distillate, straight THC, and up in the high 90% is what we do for purity.
Okay. And so what's the competitive landscape like for you in Arizona?
There's 108, 110 different dispensaries, and so that's our competition, but at the same time those are our customers because we sell against them on the flower side. We don't sell wholesale flower normally, but we sell our Vapen brand extracts and kitchens and the cartridges to those competitors, if you will. But there's a lot of customers there in Arizona. There's about 200,000 currently in the medical marijuana market. The great thing for us and for all of our other competitors is it looks like it's going rec in November 2020. Our friends to the north in Nevada, they saw a 10 times revenue jump in the first month when they went recreational. So we're excited to see that happen.
Sure. What are your future expansion plans?
In Arizona, we have built a great core, but what we're known for is our extractions and the Vapen brand. So what we've done now is we have partnerships, joint venture partnerships that we've done, about 8 of them that will be up and running by the end of this year. Those are in states like Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Ohio, Nevada, California. And on the hemp side, hemp farmers, we're working with Arkansas and Kentucky, then also Hawaii. So that's our expansion plans, and that'll actually dwarf what we've done in Arizona in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And how important is the SAFE legislation to your business?
The
safe banking?
The safe banking, for us right now, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Just because we have a bank and have had a bank for the last 6 years in
okay.
Arizona. As we expand, it will be important. So,
right.
so these, like Nevada really doesn't have any good banking. California doesn't have any good banking. So it's going to be important for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. And going forward, how do you see your product mix shaping up for your customers in the rec space?
In the rec space, what we've seen happen in other states is that more of it goes towards the edibles. And that's why we brought the edibles line on 2 years ago, and we've been expanding it. It's a very good margin business on the edibles side. And then also on the Vapen side, they've seen that jump up also because people don't go from jump into the rec market and go straight to a joint or a dry flower. They more like to go into something that's a little more discreet.
Right.
Yeah.
You have an unconventional share structure in that your founding group, your insiders, control the vast majority of the shares, and there's very little out there. So as a company that makes money and has this remarkable sort of share ownership, I mean, I could see where you might be considered undervalued by any fund manager who knew what he was doing. Tell me about that unique structure and the arrangement by which you guys are actually keeping a very tight float.
Well, really, it was more because the founder owner, Tai Wen, he never brought any money in, never sold any of the company prior to December when we decided to go public. So we did 2 friends and family rounds, did about $10 million Canadian raise during those rounds. One's in December, one in May when we got listed on the CSE. And so that's really the only shares that are out there that aren't related to himself and myself. And so it's nice to have that ownership structure so that, you know, if we want to do something, we have control. At the same time, as you can imagine going forward, that will shift. And at this point in time, as we're becoming really a cash cow, we're going to be generating and throwing off a lot of cash. We're going to become a target to for some of the big boys. And we're in this for our shareholders and ourselves. Well, you know, build that value.
You bet. All right, Bob, that's a great update on the company. Thanks very much for joining me.
All right, thank you.